Shalom, this is the beginning of chapter 27 of Shaar HaRmunah, written by the Middler Rebbe. And for this portion, we're basically going to be talking about the connection that exists between the Nefesh Elokis and the Nefesh HaTivius, and why their connection is in such a way, and essentially why the Nefesh HaTivius is able to experience a greater aliyah than the Nefesh Elokis. V'yuvan zeh, b'ma she'anu ro'im, b'chibor v'kasher. And this that we see, that there is this connection, sheyesh bein, that there is between the neshama ha'elokis, the godly soul, sheshorsha, whose source and root is in the be'eser spheros de asiyah de kedusha, within the 10 spheros in the world of asiyah, and its holy side of it. That's where the nefesh elokis is rooted in. That's what the Middler Rebbe tells us right away. De kedusha ubein hanefesh hativius. Between that godly soul and the rational soul, which is nefesh hativius, hachumris, which is materialistic, sheshorsha, whose soul root is in, meaning the nefesh hativius, its soul root is in, benoiga diasiyah, noiga v'diasiyah. So just like the nefesh elokis is godly and it's in the esospheros diasiyah de kedusha, it's on the holy side of it, the nefesh hativius, which can go either way, is in noiga diasiyah. So that means that any physical entity that is in this world is rooted in noiga, and it can go either way. We see that with things like, for example, the internet. You can use it for Torah mitzvahs, or chas v'shalom the opposite. You can even use it to do good things, shopping online, save money, essentially, of course, to serve Hashem. You can use a car for holy things, to pick up, say your parents from the airport, or you can use it, God forbid, to rob a bank. Food, you can use it for energy. Excuse me. You can use food for energy, and you can use it in the right way, essentially to serve Hashem, but you use it in the right, in moderation. Or, God forbid, people go off with food and do their own thing with it. Maybe they eat too much of it, or whatever. Okay. Yumshach miyad lebechinas hispilus gashmius de'oineg gashmi shebemoyach v'leiv baser gashmi. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Okay, so ki anu roim, since we see, shizbailus ha'oineg ha'eloki mamish, since we see that there's an arousal that takes place in divine pleasure, a person can have divine pleasure in elokus up above, shebeneshama beria haruchnius, and this takes place specifically in the soul when it is seeing elokus, when it is seeing godliness upstairs. Kanal, as we said above, yumshach, that yumshach is drawn down. That which the nefesh elokis is experiencing above immediately draws down, miyad, immediately, lebechinas hispilus, to a level of arousal, gashmius, to a physical arousal, do'oineg, which take place is do'oineg gashmi, and it takes place, it makes a physical pleasure for a mensch. Where does the physical pleasure take place in the mensch? Usually you get that from food and music. Where does the physical pleasure take place? I've read in the writings of the Middler Rebbe, where he brings there in Likutei Devarim that his father, the Rebbe Rashab Nishmusa Eden, would say that the greatest pleasure a mensch can take in is not music, but it's actually intellectual pleasure, where they're actually able to understand something. So when the Nefesh Elokis understands something on a divine level, it's immediately drawn down to the Nefesh HaTivius, and it creates a physical pleasure that the mensch has inside of his brain, as we'll get to in a second. Sheba moyach, that occurs in the brain, ubalev, and in his heart, basar, gashmi, in his physical heart, his physical brain. Ki'inyan, just like oivdei Hashem besimcha, like when you serve Hashem with joy. Rav Gafni said in his shir once about the Arizal, about what, there was a great difference. It's well known. Rav Gafni brought this once, I think, when teaching Samach Vav, and I think it's probably quoted in there in Samach Vav of the Rebbe Rashab. That, what did it say about the Arizal? The students had a question on the Arizal. Like, they asked them basically, you're so much greater than us, but you know Kabbalah and we know Kabbalah, but your level of Kabbalah is like a completely different world. Why is that? Was is das? We study, you study. Why is it that you're able to get to this unbelievably unmatched level? The Arizal answered, Simcha shel mitzvah, through having simcha of all the mitzvahs that he did. And so that's the ultimate purpose down here, that we should create a dir b'tach tainim, create a dwelling place for God here down in this world to ultimately bring Mashiach. So Mashiach can be revealed for everybody to see, and Hashem will be revealed for everybody to see. That's the ultimate purpose, to serve Hashem with joy. Hari simcha v'tuv leiv, with happiness and a good heart. Hazeh boy belev umoach gashmi, and this comes to the heart and the physical brain. Dafka specifically. Afal pi shehas simcha leeloki hu beruchnis de neshama elokis, that even though that there's a simcha, the simcha occurs in a spiritual state, as exists the godly soul on that high level. V'chein ba'ahavas b'chol levavcha, and same thing too with the love with all your heart, belev basar, that occurs in the physical heart, dafka. So that has to happen. All the simcha that happens in the love that happens happens primarily because there was all that occurring in a up on high. Now, obviously, you don't have a physical heart up on high. You have a physical heart down here in this world. But what the Middler Rebbe is coming to tell us is that through our spiritual endeavors up above, that it creates a physical love down here below. Dafka afal pi shahavazu shorsha ha'atzmi baruchnius de neshama. That even though this love, its source, exists essentially up above in the spiritual realms of the soul. Knis Krelz has said above. So how is it then that we get the physical? Maybe the Rebbe is coming to ask us, how do we get to the physical? Yes, that's what it's precisely what he's asking us. How do we get to this physical love? Everything that happens to us physically down here below, it's really happening up above. So what's connecting everything up above from the nefesh elokis that is experiencing all these tremendous things in ruchnius and spiritual things? How does it come down here into the physicality? Because we have to talk about this thingy-majiggy that's called the mamutza. This mamutza is pretty important. Shemechaber, which connects ruchnius, the neshama, legashmius, which connects the spiritual state that the neshama of the Elokis exists in, and it takes this mamutza, this go-between, connects to the nefesh Elokis, to the nefesh HaTivis down here. It's like it's a connection between the two. B'moach lev gashmi, and it connects the spiritual states down to the physical states, down to the brain, down to the heart, down to the physical heart. Vein hanikra pirkei atzelim, and this mamutza is called the pirkei atzelim. What is this pirkei atzelim? Pirkei means parts, atzelim means forms or shadow of protection, as it's referenced to in Parsha Shalach. See there Rashi, see there what the Meraglim had to say about the land of Eretz Yisrael, and they called it, I think it was that they said their protection was up, or their own protection, or the protection of the people over there in Eretz, what was then known as Eretz Canaan. Their protection had left them, or their protection had leave those people, or their protection had left themselves. Whatever it was, it's a form of protection, and this mamutza is called a part of protection that acts as like a shadow of protection. It's a go-between the nefesh elokis and the nefesh hativius. V'ainu, what's this? Bechinas koichios hamamutzim, that it has powers which come in between shemechaverim umamshichim umeveim or hashefa eloki lenefesh hativius, and it comes in between, and it connects, and it brings down, and it draws down, and it brings about the order and the shefa of godliness, and it brings it specifically to the nefesh hativius. Prat v'prate hashefa eloki, in every minute detail, it takes the light from the nefesh elokis, and I'll tell you more in a minute.